What's going on YouTube? Got another knife review here, or knife impressions. I just got this knife, so I haven't really put it to any tests or anything like that. I have sharpened it since when I did get it, it was really dull. The guy had sharpened it on an Edge Pro, and it was shiny, but the edge sucked. And so I don't know, I kind of reprofiled it a little bit on my Wicked Edge. So right now it's at 38 degrees, so 19 degrees on each side, and so 38 inclusive, and now it's blazing sharp and it's kind of just flying through paper and all that kind of stuff. So this is probably a knife that's not too well known in the knife community, but this is a Farid Mehr K2. So this is with S90v. So here, against my Hoback, my Hinder, newly acquired Hinder here, the Beast from Three Sisters Forge, and then my Chris Reeve. So this is against it closed right here, which is already pretty big, but wait till you see this blade. 4.6 inches of blade steel, which is just insane. This blade is humongous. Yeah, so anyway, this is S90v blade steel as well. Kind of see it right there. Hopefully, yeah, there you go. So Farid K2 CPM S90v right there. This is a really intense blade. Farid Mehr, from what I've researched, and there's not too much information that I've found from him, but he's a British knife maker. And he, I think, is kind of specialized in like blade sports and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of like chopping. I'm not too familiar with blade sports, but I think oftentimes they use a lot of exotic steels and see how many like logs and 2x4s they can cut through and chop through. And I don't know if this is a blade that's been put through those kinds of tests, but yeah, I mean it's a folder and all that kind of stuff. It's not a chopper. But overall length of 10 inches. It's a humongous blade, and it's a thick 0.2 inches of S90v. So against my Hinder at 0.185, it looks substantially thicker. So that's pretty impressive. This is a titanium frame lock and all that kind of stuff, 6AL 4V titanium, a very Sebenza-esque kind of pocket clip, as you can see here. Very similar, and it's the bottom here is also, or there's a cutout here, similar to Sebenza and all that kind of stuff on this pocket clip. So some similarities there with the titanium. And then it's got this huge standoff right here, standoff barrel, if you will. I don't know if it's made out of brass or what, but it's kind of cool. So kind of like a Undamzan, all you have is this right here, and then the pivot. You do have a stop pin right here, so it doesn't, opening obviously is through this thumb hole, Spyderco hole. So it kind of looks like a Spyderco. Some of the cool features about this blade as well, outside of the blade steel and the materials, is this wavy cutout here for the frame lock. It's really cool. This is the first time I've seen anything, this intricate. And I don't know how to cut that out, and cut it out so precisely. It's pretty amazing, actually. Normally you're just used to a straight cut this way. It's a very thick frame lock as well, and a very strong and very stout frame lock. One thing that's also pretty interesting is that normally, like a Hinder or the, really any of these blades, you'll either have, the frame lock is kind of cut out here so that it's able to bend, and that's how you get the spring in the frame lock. On the Hinder here, you have it cut on the outside, so you get this kind of thin piece of titanium that that's where all the strength is in the frame lock. It's not in this thickness here or alongside here, but it's really alongside here. This is where the frame's going to break if you overexert. Even though it's really going to be hard to exert that much force to break that titanium. On this one though, there's no cutout, if you can see. The titanium is a little bit thinner in general than some other frame locks. I'll show you that in a picture or in a comparison really quick. But there's no cutout in this titanium. It's one piece, kind of like the Benchmade 750 Pinnacle. But where it's cut out is right here, this little hole. And so that allows for some of the spring tension. So it's not completely one piece here. He cuts out this hole, and I guess that's where the vulnerability of the frame lock is, which is kind of I thought kind of a cool feature about this knife. When you do look at, again, the thickness, keep in mind that this blade is, even though it's 0.2 inches, the frame as a whole is much thicker. So against this, this Hoback, the Hoback scales here are 0.2 inches. So if you could imagine having these scales with this blade, I mean, that'd be crazy insane. But yeah, very thin, relatively thin. I think they're 0.125 inch scales of titanium on this blade. One bad feature about this blade is that it's tip down carry only, and that sucks. I really hate that, especially on this knife, because this titanium is pretty hard cut. This is a very sharp edge right here. This blade tang is very sharp here. So when it's sitting in your pocket, your hand just drags. When it's a big knife, it's a huge knife and a wide knife, so it takes up a lot of pocket real estate, and your hand slips in there, and you can scratch yourself pretty bad, even cut yourself maybe. Everything here is pretty nicely cut. It's not sharp like Spyderco. A lot of Spydercos, especially from Japan, that I've found, very, very sharp edges, and they can really cut. They can really cut you as your finger is kind of dragging along. These holes and everything is pretty nice. Finish on this knife is also really, really good. Just accept this tip down carry. I mean, if it was like this in your pocket, it would be perfect. There's no issues this sliding in and out. This is tucked along the side of your pocket right here, and your hand can kind of just go in and out very easily. It's very smooth. I don't know why they would insist on having a knife like this tip down. Yeah, it's kind of lame. But overall, though, it's very smooth knife. Fit and finish is very nice. It's like I said, it's a wide knife, and I think it would be really nice with gloves. My hands are moderate sized. It fits my hand pretty well, but these edges on here dig in pretty deep. If you grip this knife really tightly, it really digs into your knuckles and into your hand. You couldn't really chop or anything like that. If you're doing any kind of light cutting and all that kind of stuff, it's going to excel just fine. It's going to do great. The only question is, why would you be doing like light cutting with a knife this size? I'd much rather use my Beast, do a lot of precision cutting and all that kind of stuff. I mean, this is a great blade, a great EDC blade, very comfortable, tip down carry, all that kind of stuff. This blade, it's a tank. It's humongous. Like I was saying, reverse grip and all that kind of stuff. It's the same idea. I wouldn't consider. I don't know if this is if you could use this as a fighting knife or what. But it's gonna intimidate the crap out of people. But yeah, I don't. It's pretty uncomfortable. That's for sure. After long usage, normal usage and all that kind of stuff is going to be fine. Unless you have a glove, I think this knife, its shortcomings are the fact that its handle is so big, and it's not sharp, but the edge, there's a lot of edge here, and so it kind of just digs into your hand a lot. So no jimping at all on this knife whatsoever. Just a very smooth knife and all that kind of stuff. So again, if you're using this knife for a lot of precision, EDC type stuff, I don't know. I would say that this is actually not a very good EDC knife, mainly due to the fact that it's tip down carry, and you know, I don't know, I guess most EDC tasks are not really digging into your hand, so I guess it'd be fine, but and the fact the blade stock is so huge, so thick. Obviously it tapers down to pretty fine edge in general. You know, not quite as thin as, say, an Onslaught or something like that, but you know, if you're comparing it to Hinder right here, I mean, look at the difference in those edges. Hinder has got a very much more stout edge than the Farid Mehr. So anyway, so those are my thoughts on this Farid Mehr K2 S90v. Just it is an awesome blade for sure, without a doubt. Very intimidating blade, very capable blade, no doubt. Especially after sharpening it and all that kind of stuff. It actually works well as a slicer, surprisingly enough. But yeah, I don't know. As an EDC, it's pretty big. You can see this in comparison with all these knives here. So anyway, those are my thoughts, impressions. Probably a new knife that most of you guys haven't seen. So kind of just throwing that out there. Let me know what your comments are, what your thoughts are on this knife. It's an awesome knife, but I don't know if I'm going to be keeping this for the long run. Alright guys, thanks for watching. You guys take care. See you later. Bye.